Upadhyay, and in the previous video, in the photosynthesis part 1, we have talked about the components required for photosynthesis, the site of photosynthesis, and the famous scientists who are involved in the discovery of various components which is essential for photosynthesis. Today in this video I will tell you about light reaction versus dark reaction. What are the components necessary for the execution of these two reactions? Now I will tell you about light reaction, which is also called light dependent reaction, Hill's reaction, and photochemical reaction. So what actually happens in light reaction? So you have to remember four main points in light reaction. So the first point is it takes place in thylakoid membrane. In the photosynthesis part 1 I have told you about the site of photosynthesis which occurs in the mesophyll cell in the thylakoid membrane. So you don't have to confuse that where light reaction takes place. So it takes place in the thylakoid membrane. And what is the second point? What happens in the light reaction? Firstly, absorption of solar energy by photosynthetic pigment, that is chlorophyll. So firstly, light reaction, this reaction is called light because it is totally dependent on light. Without it, it cannot be executed. It is the supreme component for the light reaction. So the execution of the light reaction, the first stage is absorption of solar energy. The energy coming from sun is called solar energy. Solar energy by photosynthetic pigment, that is chlorophyll, chlorophyll which is present in the plant, which provides green color and helps in the absorption of solar energy. And what is the third point? The third point is conversion of light energy from sun to chemical energy and splitting of water by the process of photolysis into hydrogen, oxygen, and releasing electrons. The water gets splitted by the solar energy into 4H plus. Hydrogen, you can write proton as H plus, hydrogen ions. So in what components the water gets splitted is proton 4H plus O2, oxygen is released, and 4 electron. Always remember the NADPH and ATP are the two components synthesized in light reaction. O2 is also released in the light reaction. And the fourth point is formation of NADPH and ATP. So protons H plus, you can write proton as H plus, and electrons are thus released and used to make NADPH and ATP respectively. What is the full form of NADP? The full form is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. So we will look after the formation of NADPH, how it is formed. So released hydrogen ions are used to reduce NADP plus, forming NADPH. NADP plus, which is present in the plant, are reduced by addition of hydrogen ions to it. So what is the reaction? NADP and the 2 electrons are added and hydrogen ion is added to form NADPH, which is the ultimate product of the light reaction. So to understand ATP formation, look at this flow chart, look at this diagram. This will clear your all concepts related to light reactions. So this is the flow chart of the scheme named Z scheme. So this is not the other topic, this is the whole light reaction process. So when the light, so the photosynthesis occurs in two photosystems. From photosystem 2 to photosystem 1. The photosystems are present in the chloroplast and the thylakoid membrane. Observe carefully the diagram of chloroplast. So look here, this is the photosystem 2, the whole photosystem 2, and this is photosystem 1. So when the light of different wavelength falls on the LHC means light harvesting complex. This is the place where light gets harvested, the place where light gets collected. So the photosystem 2, first the light goes to the photosystem 2, but when the ray of light of different wavelength goes to photosystem 2 LHC, it catches the wavelength of 680 nanometer. So different wavelengths of light are falling on both the photosystems. So when the LHC of photosystem 2 catches light, it then move to E acceptor. The E electron acceptor will catches the electron from the light harvesting complexes. So first you must remember that you do not require the whole white light from the sun. When you give red and blue light from the sun, the photosynthesis can easily be executed. So the electron acceptor will catches, and it then move to electron transport system ETS, where ATP gets synthesized from ADP attached to inorganic phosphate. The full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate, and the adenosine diphosphate, when attaches to inorganic phosphate, it forms adenosine triphosphate. So the electron moved from ETS gets moved to photosystem 1. Photosystem 1, the LHC, it again moves to the LHC. So the light also going, light of different wavelength also going to photosystem 1, but here in the photosystem 2 it catches 680 nanometer of wavelength, and here it catches 700 nanometer of wavelength. The electron again goes upward direction to electron acceptor of the photosystem 1, and here the energy rich NADP plus gets reduced to NADPH. So here ATP is formed and NADPH gets formed. So this is the Z scheme, because look at the pattern, this pattern is Z scheme, that's why it is called Z scheme. So it is non-cyclic photophosphorylation, the process by which ATP gets formed in the presence of light, then it is called photophosphorylation. So this is non-cyclic photophosphorylation. And now look at the cyclic photophosphorylation. When the only PS1 photosystem 1 is functional, then cyclic photophosphorylation takes place. So what happens? There is no requirement of photosystem 2. It can be executed in photosystem 1 only. So what happens when the light of different wavelengths falls to the LHC of photosystem 1? The chlorophyll catches 700 nanometer of wavelength of light. So it is called P700, photosystem 700. And when light ray get to the photosystem 1, it again moves to electron acceptor, and it from the electron acceptor, here the electron move to electron transport system, and here again ATP is synthesized by the process of photophosphorylation, and then the electron then through the ETS moves to chlorophyll P700, here LHC. So there is no any requirement of photosystem 2 in cyclic photophosphorylation. So this is the whole light reaction. Now I will tell you about chemiosmosis. It is little different topic, so I will only show you the definition, so that it cannot create any type of confusion in your mind. So it is the movement of ions across the semi-permeable membrane down the electrochemical gradient. And the another point is, for example, formation of ATP by movement of hydrogen ions across semi-permeable membrane during photosynthesis or cellular respiration. It is the part of photosynthesis, but little different topic. Now I will tell you about dark reaction in very simple way. So please pay attention to understand the concept of dark reaction. So the dark reaction is also called light independent reaction, biosynthetic phase, and also called Blackman's reaction. So look, there are several points you must remember. You can note down in your copies. So the first point is it occurs in stroma of the chloroplast, and the second point is it is dependent on the products of light reaction. What were the products of light reaction? ATP and NADPH. So, and the third point is occur in all plants where they have C3 or C4 pathway. Now the fourth point is the carbon fixation. This is the very important point which occurs in dark reaction. That is, CO2 gets reduced using hydrogen from NADPH from the NADPH, CO2 gets reduced using the hydrogen to form carbohydrate. This is the ultimate product which occurs in the dark reaction, which forms in the dark reaction. Like, what is the type of carbohydrate? Which is glucose, using chemical energy in the form of ATP. And now the fifth point is, overall photosynthesis reaction is redox reaction, means oxidation reduction reaction, in which H2O donates electrons for reduction of carbon dioxide to form carbohydrate. This is the carbohydrate which is actually formed, CH2ON, and when you put the value of N 6, so the glucose will be formed. So what is the overall reaction? This is the overall reaction. C6CO2 plus 12H2O due to sunlight acted. So the products are C6H12O6, which is glucose, plus 6O2 oxygen, or plus and plus 6H2O. So look here, the 6CO2 gets reduced to form glucose, and the 12H2O gets oxidized to form oxygen. This is the Calvin cycle, which was discovered by the scientist Melvin Calvin by the radiation emitted from the nuclear bombs which were thrown during the World War II. So what happens in Calvin cycle? So this is the ribulose. The first stage is carboxylation of RUBP. What is RUBP? Ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. It is, which is a CO2 acceptor molecule and 5-carbon ketose sugar. So in the first stage of carboxylation of RUBP, there is the fixation of CO2, which is catalyzed by the enzyme Rubisco. So actually it is catalyzed by ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase, but its function is also oxygenation, so therefore ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase and oxygenase. So this is the first process in which carbon dioxide from the atmosphere gets fixed, and the product formed is 3-phosphoglycerate, which is 3-PGA. The two molecules of 3-PGA is formed after the process of carboxylation. And the second process is reduction, in which the CO2 gets reduced, which requires 2 ATP and 2 NADPH. And what formed? The ADP plus PI plus NADP plus. So it is the reducing agent. So the third process is regeneration. But after the reduction, what is the product? Triose phosphate, which is sucrose or starch. Carbohydrate which is stored in the plant is in the form of sucrose, and after the triose phosphate, it goes in the process of regeneration, means recreation of RUBP. So in the regeneration process, it requires 1 ATP for phosphorylation to form RUBP. So this is the Calvin cycle, and if the Calvin cycle turns 6 times, then one molecule of glucose is formed. So again after the regeneration, again RUBP is created, and this process continues. So this is the Calvin cycle. There are 4 main types of photosynthetic pigments. So the first pigment is chlorophyll A, which is the chief pigment and which is of blue or green color. And the second is chlorophyll B, which is of yellow or green color. And third is xanthophyll, which is of only yellow color. And the fourth is carotenoid, which is of yellow or yellow-orange color. And these pigments have ability to absorb light at a specific wavelength. The maximum photosynthesis takes place in the region of blue and red light, not artificial blue and red light, but the sunlight. What are the uses of chlorophyll B, xanthophyll and carotenoid? So the first use is they help to trap energy from wide range of wavelength, and the second use is it prevent chlorophyll A from its photooxidation, means from burning. So these were the uses of the chlorophyll B, xanthophyll and carotenoid. Hope you like this video. Please like and comment down below which topic I missed, and I will tell you about in the next video. Thank you so much.